What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Sistas on BET. This is season 2, episode 19. The episode is titled Severing All Ties. There are a lot of people who should sever ties, but we're not going to get into that. But let's get into the video, shall we? All right, you guys, so it picks up where the last one left off. You guys remember Maurice went home, heard all those sex noises coming from Calvin's room. So you guys remember the guy came out of Calvin's room ass naked. So his name is Q. Q is a stripper, and he's talking about him and Calvin. Well, whoever's in the room with him, they've been going for 4 rounds. I'm like, oh wow, 4 rounds. 4 rounds. Ooh, that's a lot. Maurice, I noticed Maurice was sweating up a storm because, you could look at if you looked over here, you saw the sweat dripping. So Maurice is just like in heat at this point because Q went to the refrigerator to get something to drink, and you could see all his ass was just there in front of Maurice's face. So Maurice is just, gallivanting, just salivating. I didn't mean to say gallivanting. He's salivating just looking at this. Honestly, with this, I'm gonna talk about it later in the review, but we didn't get any resolution in this scene. But let's move on. So Karen, I'm still confused as to why Karen is putting herself in this position. You know that Aaron is not doesn't want to have. Well, he wants to have sex with you, but he's abstaining from sex. So I don't know why Karen continues to put herself in said situation. Yeah, I don't know why she put herself in said situation. Hold on, you guys. My best friend is, talking to me about something. But yeah, I don't know why Karen continues to put herself in the situation with him in bed. Knowing she ain't getting no dick. So then she calls Sabrina up and, she tells Sabrina like, hey, I need you to come by, the salon tomorrow, before you go to work. So she was like, okay, is everything okay? And, Karen is like, yeah, everything is cool, but just come by the salon. So then Aaron is sitting there, and Aaron eavesdropped and heard the conversation. So with that, he's like, do you think that's a good idea talking to the girls? She was like, yes, I do think it is. I guess I'll give Karen that it is a good thing to talk to the girls just to get their viewpoint. They have been friends for so long, so it's easier to hear their perspective and instead of hearing Aaron's perspective, which Aaron defended, Gary in the last episode, which really pissed me off. I just did not understand that. Yeah, I did that one. Yeah, TJ said. Sorry, you guys. My friend is, applying to grad school just like I am. But yeah, where are we? So yeah, I agree with, Karen can talk to the girls. Aaron, mind your business, please and thank you. But let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, sorry about that. So next up, let's talk about Andy. At this point, when it comes down to Andy, I got nothing for Andy, so I'm not gonna let Andy bother me at this point. I'm just gonna let Andy be. So she's getting ready to go to work, and when she goes to the door, Nicholas is there with some more flowers. And she's like, just take those back. And, Nicholas is like, well, I might be overstepping my boundaries and I might be asking a question that ain't got nothing to do with me. But why don't you just, take Gary's name off? If you don't want the flowers for him, why don't you just take his name off of the list of people that can come up here? And she was like, yeah, you should mind your business. But she is right. He should mind his business, but he is saying something that is really truthful and factual. Like, if you're gonna continue, if Gary's gonna continue to send you flowers and you're gonna continue to send them away, Why don't you just have his name removed? It's that easy. Now, if you guys get back in a good spot, add his name back. But for right now, take his name off. So then, she goes to the that ring box. She puts the ring on and she's like, I'm just like, Andy, you look stupid. But, if it makes Andy happy to try on Gary's ring, who am I to judge her? Because I'm not. But the dumb fool, when she put the ring on, she tried to get the ring off. She used some butter. I think she used some soap or some lotion, trying to get it off. So then she decides to look at the box and she calls the company that made the ring. She was like, how do I get this ring off? And they were like, oh, well, you have to get it off with the key. She's like, I don't have the key. What is the key? He says, the key is the groom's ring. I was like, oh, you look foolish. So you finna be walking around with this engagement ring on and you haven't said yes to this man who, almost, suffocated you, by squeezing you to death. But, it is what it is. Again, like I said, Andy is just not gonna bother me. She's fine. Andy's fine. So they tell her that the ring is designed that once you put it on, it'll suction to your finger. It'll shrink on your finger. She's like, what about your circulation? And they said something. I mean, I've never heard of a ring like that in my life. How? Oh God, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I do this to myself? Why do I take myself down a rabbit hole? Why do I take myself down a rabbit hole? I don't know. Okay. You're in Tyler Perry's world. So, I mean, I would be, if you told me that somebody bought a ring that I could never get off of my finger and the only way I can get it off is with the groom's ring, I would freak the hell out of like, what kind of crap is this? Why would anybody want to buy a ring like that? But it's Gary that I'm talking about. But why would anybody want to buy a ring that's designed like that? That once it goes past your knuckles, it starts to fit to your finger. Okay, so that means like if she go to the gym and work out, she got to work out with that ring on her finger. Like if she wants to do anything, okay, yeah, have fun with that ring, Andy. So let's talk about Zach and Fatima. So Zach and Fatima, it wasn't much in this scene with them besides them having sex, and it looked like a good time between Zach and Fatima in that bed. I will say though, when it comes down to Zach and Fatima, I do like seeing Zach and Fatima together, and they have a conversation. I love them joking with each other about their sex faces. It was funny because Zach was talking about her eyes cock like, go to the side. They cock. She made fun of him. Then they go get in the shower, and that was that. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So then Dani and Sabrina, so they make it to the salon. Now, who the hell called Dani? Because Karen called Sabrina, so I'm guessing soon after she hung up with Karen, she called Dani. So okay, cool. Maybe that's how that happened. So Sabrina, not Sabrina, but Karen tells Sabrina and Dani about, Andy and Gary being back together, and he asked her to marry him. Well, Sabrina flips out. What happened to Andy in college. And really and truly in this scene, the two people who was really doing the most talking was Karen and Sabrina. So Sabrina wants to go down to Andy's job and have a conversation with her. Karen's like, no, we can't do that because she's going to be pissed off at us. And I mean, rightfully so. Why would you want to go to somebody's job that's unprofessional as hell? You're going to go to your friend's job and tell her about herself with this man. Why not just wait until she gets off of work? And that's what Karen ultimately said. Let's just wait until she gets off of work. And then Karen like, well, you've been awfully quiet, Dani. And Dani's like, well, I tried to say something at the bank and, when she gave the money back, but No, you and you shush me, so I'm shushed. And I'm like, exactly. Dani was trying to speak facts to y'all the last time, but y'all told her to shut up. I'm all here for Dani. So, so Karen was like, okay, well, Dani, go ahead and say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. And Dani said, we've all been stupid behind a man, which, I mean, I think, men and women, we've all been stupid behind, a certain person that we've fallen in love with. But it's up to us if we're in a toxic situation. It's up to us to get ourselves out of that toxic situation. You have to get to the point where you're tired of the back and forth, and you say, you know what, enough's enough. I do love you, but I love myself more. You know what I'm saying? Like I've actually been in a situation like that with an ex. The relationship wasn't bad. It was just that it was very, very toxic. And it took for me to be like, you know what? You deserve better. You deserve better than what you're being treated. So it was just like, you know what? I'm good. It is what it is. We can still it wasn't like it wasn't volatile or abusive or anything. It was just emotionally draining, and went on our way. Still cool to this day, but it got to a point where it was toxic. But I was in my early 20s, so I was still a kid. So I'm here for Dani because Dani said, you know what, when it comes down to Andy has to figure this thing out for herself. And she'll eventually come to us, which is true. She will eventually come to y'all. So let's move back over to Calvin, Q, and Maurice. So Q stayed all night with Calvin. I'm assuming it's Calvin. Again, like I said, you guys, we're going to talk about that. And, Maurice's like, y'all was up all night. And didn't even ask a bitch to join y'all. And, Q was like, well, I did ask your boy if you could join us, but he said no. I'm like, oh. Yeah, like I said, you guys, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit of detail. But it's kind of confusing to me because it was just a ring around the rosy with this whole subject. But let's move on. All right, you guys. So we see Zach and Dani. They're at the airport, and they had a repetitive dialogue scene. So I'm just going to shorten it down to you guys about what they were talking about. So Zach told Dani he was in jail, and he was arrested because Karen is the one that said that he's, used her credit card for fraud. And he told Dani, like, tell your girl I didn't do it. She says, I already did that. And he says, what else did he say? He said something else. He said, tell her it wasn't me. She said, I did that. He wanted her to tell her something else. She says, I've already said that, Zach. And actually, you know what? I think he repeated himself in a different way. I think that's what it was. Because he said, tell her it wasn't me that I didn't. Yep, that's what it was. It wasn't me and I didn't do it. He kept repeating that. And Dani was like, I told her. Like, I've told her this. And he kept repeating it. Dani said, what you want me to say? When it comes to Dani, her facial expressions, it's her, the actress who plays Dani. I don't know if they tell her, if they give her direction to, do all those, those faces that those faces she does. I don't know if they tell her to do that, but it makes it look like she has Tourette's. Just got to be honest. It makes it look like the girl has Tourette's. Actually, let me take that back because I don't know if she has Tourette's or not. Because when she be doing all of that stuff, that fidgeting stuff, it just look like she has Tourette's. I just think I feel like she about to go into, what's that movie? Not Stomp the Yard. It's not Stomp the. I'm not thinking about Stomp the Yard. I'm thinking about that movie with Omarion and Marcus Houston. Damn, what is the name of that movie? And I have the movie on DVD. Don't put it in the comment section. Because I'm about to look it up because it's going to bother me. You got served. I didn't have to look it up. You got served. It looked like she finna be an extra and you got served. You got served. That is the movie, right? I believe that's the movie. But suffice it to say, Danny is on Zach's side. So Jacoby. So when Maurice got to the bank, hey bitch. And Maurice's like, huh? He was like, so he said, me and Sabrina, she told me about what happened with you and Lonzo. So sorry, bitch. And he was like, what are you doing? He says, I'm calling you, bitch. It was, you know what? When it comes down to Jacoby, I can take him saying bitch over Maurice. Because I know Jacoby is just literally being facetious. Which, I mean, honestly, Maurice is being facetious as well. But his facetiousness is just annoying. That's why I always beg the question of what gay man does Tyler Perry know? Because let me think of all his gay character. You know what? We're not going to do it. You're not. You're not. Because we just talked about it. We actually just talked about it last night. And, well, actually, I just talked about it this morning when I did the Oval video. But I guess I could repeat it again. It doesn't hurt. Like, I just wish that, and again, like I said in the Oval video, he doesn't necessarily have to get anybody that is 100% gay or bisexual to play a gay or bisexual character. But if you want to it would be nice if you did that, employ some people who are of the community, but that's not something that you have to do. You could easily hire a straight actor and they can knock it out of the park and have the viewers literally believe that they're gay. Like, there are a lot of shows that I've watched where, you see the character and you be like, is he actually gay? Like, damn. Because, he playing the hell out of that role. Like I was talking about with Power Book 2, the guy that plays Drew. I literally thought the man was gay. How to Get Away with Murder. I'm trying to think of some of the other shows that I've watched where there've been, the list can go on and on. Like, the list can literally go on about, some of the men and some of the women that play, gay, lesbian, bisexual. But, whatever. It is what it is. So Sabrina comes in and she's talking to Maurice. Maurice wants the tea on what happened with her and Jacoby. She says nothing happened, but then she does tell him that, now here's the thing that got me. So Sabrina's telling him, about what happened when he came over to the crib. But she said she saw his manhood and that it had a smiley face tattoo on it. I'm like, when did you see it? Did he pull it? He asked you, did you want to see it? He asked you, did you want to see it? You told him to go. So did he just whip it out right then and there? You know what? Whatever. And then she's talking about she's still hung up on Calvin. And, Maurice was like, shit, he ain't hung up on you no more. She's like, what do you mean? It was another repetitive dialogue, but he eventually told her, well, Calvin, last night, when I got home, I heard that animalistic type of sex, and it wasn't with a woman. It was with a man. So then she goes in her office and she calls Calvin. Calvin, you could have told me that you were gay or bisexual. I would have understood. No, Sabrina, you would not have understood. We went through a whole season of you questioning this man's sexuality, and you were never once okay with it. You were not okay with the man wearing the panties. You were not okay with the man sticking the dildo up his butt. Which that was kind of interesting. I know that that's the, G spot, but never mind. So yeah, Sabrina, you would not have been understanding, but let's play like you were. Let's play like you would be. Even though you wouldn't. But let's move on. All right, you guys, so I'm going to wrap the episode up. Dani, she calls Karen. She tells Karen that Zach went to jail and that Zach is pissed off right now. And Karen was like, well, I'm pissed off too, Danny. And she says he stole from me. And she was like, do you have proof of that? She says the bank said that he didn't, Danny. They said they have his signature. And Danny hit her with the $1 million question. Did you see it yourself, Karen? Did you verify it that it was Zach's signature? Oh, I gotta work, Danny. No, Sabrina. She's asking you something because you are putting this man's life in jeopardy. You're sitting here saying that he did something that I know. I don't believe Zach. I do not believe Zach did it. Because if Zach did it, if Zach stole $6,000 worth on her credit card, what does he have to show for it? He is staying with Fatima. He is driving one of the company trucks. What does Zach have to show for $6,000? Please explain that to me. Because I know Zach is a lot of things, but he's not that smart. Unfortunately, sorry to say, Zach, but you're not that smart, buddy. You're just not. So then she also tells her that Zach is out of jail. She's like, how did he get out of jail? Why are you concerned, Karen? So then Calvin comes sashaying, down to the bank, wanting to see Sabrina. So then Maurice is talking in riddles and circles and all kind of stuff. Instead of just coming out and saying, Calvin, I heard you getting banged last night. Well, Calvin should have actually caught on to what he was saying when he said, I'm surprised that you can sit down after all that ruckus last night. I'm surprised Calvin did not catch on to that because Calvin's like, Maurice, I don't have time for your shit today. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But honestly, if Calvin just used the context clues, he's saying, dude, I heard you, getting your back blown out by, big buff man, but whatever. So then Sabrina comes in. Her and Calvin had this long, hideous back and forth with each other. And, she deletes his contact number and, blocks him. He tells her, fuck you. I'm like, damn, that's harsh. Oh, God. Well, this is the end of the episode, but oh, God. Andy and Gary. So Andy and Gary, they talk about the ring. That's it. Gary's going to go to the office so that way Andy can get the ring off of her finger. Gary is actually happy thinking that Andy had considered his marriage proposal. Girl, I hope Jasmine beat you up because Jasmine and some big burly chicks were outside in the parking garage. I'm sorry, but your parking garage ain't got no kind of cover. It's a covered parking garage. So anybody can just walk into your parking garage? Okay. Yeah, you guys, that was Sistas. Please let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments section below. Also, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. Share this video, and until the next one, you guys, do me a solid favor. Stay safe, take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear your mask, and socially distance, you guys. I think about what I say. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good night, guys. Bye.